Well, happy Monday, man.
Happy Monday.
Here's to the best week in the history of the planet. Most productive and profitable week ever.
Well, we are in full control of it, aren't we?
We are. I love this topic this morning. It's the emails are fun, right? The ones that come back on the Q&As. It's one of my favorite things to do on this one. So I love these because it's whatever you want to say. It's whatever you guys want to ask. So we've got a bunch of them in, but anything listing related at all, type in the questions. That's what we want to hit today. Anything at all in your mind about listing process, listings in general, anything strategies, contextual, super high, super low, granular detail, whatever you want to do. So if you didn't send in a comment chat, we still have time for you to do that. So put some in there. One of my favorite ones, I'm going to start with the one is, why do you keep pushing listings? Right? Someone just wrote that back. And I thought it was a fair question, especially in light of how we're kind of evolving the archetype side of the world over there too. And why do I push listings, right? It's not I don't think as a company, we necessarily push the listings. Let me just give you my thoughts on it for a second, because I was brought up with a listing mindset, and my personality style is such that I'm kind of a prospector. And so I like the ability to control my own destiny. And when I first got into this business, I was just coming out of college, right? Fresh. And my girlfriend at the time was still in college. And so I liked having my weekends. So the only way I can actually have a life and be able to do things on the weekends was to not put buyers' butts in my car. So from the very beginning, I learned if I worked my butt off all week long and got a couple listing appointments and a couple listings a week, then while I'm out screwing around, people are selling my inventory. Then I'd come back and people would have that one done. So that was just for me, good for my personal lifestyle. And then I enjoyed that process a lot, everything about that process. And then I just kept that going, right? So for me, it was the ability to control my own schedule. That's what got me into the listing side of the world. And that's why I kind of make an assumption that you guys want to have control over your schedule. But you can have control over your schedule with buyers also. So it just depends on kind of which side of the equation you want. So kind of back and forth. So let's banter back and forth between buyers and sellers for a second to answer this question in a few different angles. So what's your view on it?
Yeah, I mean, I think to your point, control, right? The ability to control your schedule, the ability to control your lifestyle. For me, I think there's still ways to do that on the buyer side. I personally have been able to do that, but it's certainly more challenging. It was extremely challenging, over the last 12, 18 months, because the speed at which the market was moving, if you were on the buyer side, there was no, oh, someone calls you at 2:00 on Wednesday. There was no, all right, we'll schedule it for later in the week. It was no, you better get in the car, be there in 15 minutes because you probably won't get it. Now we're getting back to a spot where there's a little bit more breathing room in most cases to make a more sound decision, take your time, right? So you can schedule things out a little bit easier and more efficiently on the buy side than you ever could before. Or at least over the last 24 months. But I think to your point, it's a matter of control, right? If I want, when you have the product that everyone wants, everyone's coming to you, right? And when you don't have that product, you're going to everyone that does. So the question is, do you want to have more control or less control? That's it, right? And I think listings obviously give you far more control.
Another point about this is, to me, having a sign up means you're in business, right? Because it promotes to everybody who drives by that the goal was always to get a sign in a very high traffic location, because that's a billboard that goes up and has your name and has your, but it's a double-edged sword too, because if you don't do a good job, you're broadcasting to the marketplace that you suck. Because if your sign stays up for 6 months and it goes down and somebody else's sign comes up and then their sign gets a sold sign and your sign didn't, then that's really not the best advertising you could do. So you got to be cognizant about that process, about saying, all right, this is my business, and I'm showing to the world how good a job that I do. And then with the just listed calls, with the just listed postcards, with the door knocks, with the door hangers, if you wanted to do that style of business, listings are awesome because you're constantly marketing that you're actually in this business too. So that's the other part that I really enjoy. That's why I always push listings. Anybody that I'm coaching or helping out in this business, it's always inventory. It's always been inventory, always will be inventory, because that's the only way you can control the process and have a pipeline, right? If you have 5, 6, 7, 10, 15, 18, 20 listings at a time, you're in pretty good shape because something's going to sell along the board. You're always going to have deals in the pipeline pending. So that's a long answer to the question, why do you like to push listings? So, but one thing I want to say too, from a buyer perspective, it's not just about controlling the schedule, because many of you are really, really good buyer's agents, and that's a great talent too. And those great buyer's agents do control their schedule because they are sharp and they are strong and they follow a system. And they say, I would love to interview for the job to be your buyer's agent. Here's how I run my business. You're going to do step 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and we can get together on Tuesday or Wednesday at 3:30, which one's better for you, right? You take control over that business. You're going to do fine listings or buyer sides, right? That's a short answer to why do we like listings.
Yep.
There's question 1.
I got one that I thought was, it's a valid question, I guess, but it just made me chuckle a little bit because I knew you were gonna want to hit this one. But the person asked, if we're wanting listings so bad, why are we not allowing them to discount to get them? Because that particular agent was struggling getting them at the full 6%. Your thoughts?
Great question. Okay, great question. Now, what is the company line on this one? We charge 3% on the marketing side. That's just what we get paid. And it is what it is. That's what we get paid. That's for single agency. That's for all the marketing. That's for all the global currency translations. That's for all the YouTube marketing. That's for everything that we do. It costs 3%. Now, we also charge the prevailing rate in the market from the buyer side. So if I'm looking in Orange Blossom Groves neighborhood and everything in that marketplace is offering 3%, I'm an idiot if I offer 2%, because all the agents are going to hate me and show my house last. Simple fact, right? If everyone's offering 2.5, I would be smart to be the only one offering 3, because every agent in that marketplace is going to like me and want to show my house first, right? So if you just dumb it down to that conversation with your seller, it's very easy to have that conversation. It's for them to see it, right? That's it. So it's the prevailing rate on the buyer side, and we just are worth 3%. We're worth more than 3% on the list marketing side. So that's just what we charge. So, but so-and-so will do it for 4. And they said, if I can match it, then I have the listing. Why don't you let me take it? Right? We hear those conversations all the time. So one of the things I want to make sure that your head is wired for is, well, Susie Smith at Remax will do it for 4%. If I can match it, it's our listing. Susie Smith's going to do what for 4%? Right? That's the conversation we need to be having, is what is the it? And that's what I want you, whoever ask that question. What is the it? Right? Because there is a big difference between other people's it and our it. That's the biggest issue that we have. So if they're willing to do it, so I tell the sellers many, many times that, okay, let me see what they're willing to do, they're offering to do for the 4%. And then let me take a look at that. And let me see the differences. Let's compare apples to apples here for a second. Because if they're just going to put you in the MLS and sit back and not represent you and just be transaction brokers and do nothing and put you in the MLS, then frankly, it's not smart to even pay them 4%. Here's Jack Keller's phone number. He'll let you for a couple $100, right? Why would you even pay 4% if you didn't do that, right? So you can kind of turn the tables on people to have that conversation. But look, there's a but for every seat. Some people appreciate the ability to have representation and somebody to really do what we do. Some people don't. That's okay. So you need to fully educate, empower, encourage, make sure that the clientels know what our offering package is, so they do not confuse us with others for that we do the same thing. Because everybody by nature thinks that we all went to real estate school, We all work for real estate companies. We all do the same damn thing, right? So therefore, if Susie will do it for 4, why won't you do it for 4? And why are you trying to charge me 5 or 6 when she's going to do it for 4? You must hate me, right? So that's the simple baseline thought process. So let's understand where they're coming from. They don't know there's a difference. They don't know single agency versus transaction broker. They have no idea the translations and the global reach and all those things that actually matter. They don't have any idea the depth of programs and knowledge and resources that you guys have at your disposal. Why would they? Why would they know? And why would they care? So that's the conversation we need to start having is use a little empathy, enter their world and realize that they think you're exactly the same as the other 1,499,999 agents running around the country. And there's no reason for them to think any differently. No company talks about their differences. No agents talk about their differences. They look, I listed another house. Oh, look, I just sold. Look at how much money I made. Look at me. I just listed. Oh, look at me. I just sold. Every company agent does the exact same thing to the general public's knowledge. So it's our fault that they think everybody does the exact same thing. So it's our job to make sure that you're showing yourself differently. So back at you, whoever asked that question, do you have your Moxie set up? Right? How does your presentation look? How does your bio look? Are you talking about single agency? Are you talking about, do you share the video? Do you know how to discuss all the points on that video? Do you see all the points that we set up into the Moxie presentations for you? Can you clearly articulate the differences between single agency and transaction broker? Do you know those 11 questions backwards and forwards and the answers to those 11 questions that are supposed to be left at the preview? Do you ask the questions that we teach you to ask on the preview? Are you doing the pre-qualification questions? Right? These are the questions that when done right, that question never even comes up, because when they have talked with Sally over at Remax, she just verbal vomited her listing presentation and printed out some comps, right? And said, hey, it's a whatever, I'll do it. You're my buddy. We play, we go drink beer together and glass of wine or spritzers, whatever the hell they drink. And I'll do you a deal. We'll do it at 4. So did you show up? Did you show the difference? Did you put your whole package out there? Because when you do, they're going to clearly see there's a difference on that one. So I think it goes back to you who asked that question and everybody listening right now. How solid is your presentation and how clear is it that there's a difference between you and everybody else out there in the marketplace? And the answer is, if you do not have a set system that you follow every single time, you're going to be lumped into the same group of agents that everybody else is in the industry. So long answer on that one for you.
Value is value, right? And you have to sell the value. And I think the other thing is, this is where DISC, VAK come into play too, and being able to understand and really listen to people. Because if I'm having a conversation with Jeff, if I'm really paying attention to him and what's important to him, then I can really start to hit home on what's going to bring Jeff value. Because the reality is we offer a lot, right? And we are more than worth our percentage. But at the same time, we have to pinpoint, because there are things that we offer that Jeff may not care about, right? There are things that we offer that we believe, we know, provide value as part of the process, but in his mind, they don't provide value. So my job is not only to make sure I know what tools I have, but then be able to understand, connect with Jeff, really read him, and whoever else is in the room, whoever else the decision maker is, right? But understand what's important to them, and then what do I have in my toolbox that's going to bring them value for that particular issue. And if you can do that, you're going to win the commission battle most of the time, right? But if you just go in there like every other agent, you're going to lose. And you know what? Rightfully so, because you didn't demonstrate value. And that's the reality of the world, right? If you demonstrate value, it doesn't become an issue. Amazon is not the cheapest place to buy things all the time. But if I want something here next day, am I willing to pay a couple % more to get it? Right? It's why most of the world shops there. Not necessarily because it's the cheapest, but I know I can get it here next day without leaving my value.
Right. Well, you could have gone to Costco and got more of it cheaper. And it had you planned a little bit in advance and done that the right way,
Maybe.
right? If you value time.
But I would have had to get in my
versus
car. I would have had to drive, right? So again, for me, it's, well, convenience, right? I don't have to leave. I don't have to get in my car. It'll be here next day. I don't have to buy 1,000 of them. Like there's advantages, right? But again, maybe somebody else is like, no, I really like going and do, well, okay, great. Then there's value to that too. So maybe, you know, so it's figuring out where that value button is for that particular client, right? And then hitting that home. We do have some questions in the chat.
Yeah.
Tammy had asked, what is the average days on market right now?
Here, let
Depends
me
on the
answer that
area.
one. Let me answer that one. The average days on the market right now depends on the micro market you're talking about.
Yeah.
And we have to always pivot back to that all the time, right? These like so-and-so will do it for 4%. I want an alarm to go off. When somebody says, how's the market or anything market related, which market, right? Because it depends. When you have a glut of it, I was talking to an agent who had a listing and there was 12 houses for sale in the same neighborhood. They're screwed, right? The average days on the market's a long time, right? It's a lot longer than some of our other little micro markets that have short-term rental cash flow and property with only one direct on the golf. Average day on the market is 1 still, right?
Well, hold on, let's back up though. With 12 homes on the market, they're not screwed if they're strategic and have a very transparent conversation with that seller.
Yes.
Right? That conversation, if you go to that seller and say, hey, listen, there's 11 other homes on the market right now. What is more important to you, time or money, right? And let's look at and really compare your home to the other 11. And where do we stand, right? And do we want to get this home sold now? Or are you okay pricing it higher, getting these other ones sold, right? Making them look really attractive. And now all of a sudden there's 1 or 2 on the market. And now you're the prettiest one on the block and we can get you that price, right? But it's going to take longer. Which one do you want? Let them pick, right? But if you're strategic with it, it's not a problem. The problem is when you act like you're the only one on the street and there's 11 others and you're pricing it like you're the only one on the street and there's 11 others that are prettier than you that are priced the same or cheaper. That's a problem because that home's not going to sell. You're going to look like a jackass and it's going to be terrible, right? So it's all just a matter of approaching it the right way and having really transparent conversations. And I think a lot of times we're scared that they're going to say, well, then I'm going to go list with Susie Smith. Well, you know what? If that's what it was going to take to get that listing, it's probably better that they make Susie look like an idiot than you, right?
That's right.
So just be transparent in those situations. But
well,
I digress.
Be transparent and follow the system, right? The system is go through the comps, do the strategic pricing analysis, and then go to the seller's cost estimator, right? It's the net sheet, which is the cost comparison, which is the, hey, Mike and Courtney, here's the price range of value which your home will sell. If you look over to the left, it's a faster sale. If you look over to the right, it's a very slower sale. If you look in the middle, it's average days on the market. And your micro market is now 68 days. So if we price around the same square footage as everybody else, probably 68 days from now-ish, we should have a contract. If you'd like to be gone faster, we need to price over on this side of the spreadsheet. If you want to be sold slower and you don't really care, you just would rather have the top pioneer a new price for your neighborhood, I'm fine. We'll list it for 9 months and we'll sit and wait and see what happens. Now that you've seen these prices, where do you want to price your home? And you zip it. And then Mike and Courtney battle back and forth, say, oh, I want more money. Well, I want to get out of here. I won't sit there, eat your popcorn, and watch the battle happen until they finally say, we want out, we want to price it here. Who picked the price? They did. Okay, why? Because I don't live in their world. They're the only ones that really know what's going on. And they're the only ones that know if it's money or if it's time. And we don't care either way, guys. We'll take the deal 6, 7, 8 months from now also, right? We'll take it next week also. But it's up to us to be fully transparent and say, let's be honest. This one down the street, Tammy just, she's got 4 listings right now, 3 single families and a townhome in Seminole. Same, right? So 3 single families. So she has, and I know she's a great agent, so she has this conversation saying, seller, Mike and Courtney, we're competing with the one over on Oak Street. Look at these pictures, right? I want you to take a look at the upgraded bathroom. I want you to see the level of courts they have and their cabinetry. It's been totally remodeled. They've got a screened enclosure. You cannot price the same as them. They're going to sell first. You can price the same as them, but that's a strategy to get them off the market. So now you're the last one standing, right? So do we want to price to have your sell, or do we want to price it to have that one sell? And either one's okay. It's a different pricing strategy, but we need to figure out what the deal is. Problem is, if they sell, there's your comp, right? That's the issue when it's comparing. So it's just transparency, and it's telling them the truth. And the reality is, if they don't listen to your guidance, guys, you don't want them as a client, right? They don't deserve you as their agent because you know what you're doing, right? And we know what we're doing, and they're getting a damn good company when they hire us, right? And they're getting a lot of experience and a lot of guidance. And when you guys get in a bind, you know, we walk you through everything. We talk to your clients, we do whatever it takes, because they're hiring all of us when they get the property under contract with us. So absolutely, that's the whole point on that one. Tammy just said she got a listing. What's up?
Oh, go ahead. Mike
I was
Coleman had
saying,
asked.
she said she just got a listing from a 4% agent that got fired, right? Yeah, what's the incentive? They're doing 1%, might be great, but that's not a business person. And then you go back to the whole thing, like the objection handle we do all the time. If I say okay, and you let me list your property for 4%, you need to promise me that you fire me instantly.
Yeah.
Kick me out of your house.
You can't demonstrate your own value. How the hell are you going to demonstrate the value of their property?
Right.
It just doesn't compute.
It's like me listing your house at 850 and somebody says, hey, will they take 780? So, well, maybe write it up. Let me see what we could do. Maybe, you know, the market's changing.
I had this conversation with my mother-in-law when I listed her house, own family. I think, you know, there's some expectation there's going to be a discount. I said, no, we're going full 6%. And here's why, right? At the end of the day, you're hiring me to get the most amount of attention on this property as possible. The second that I discount that commission, I'm immediately working against that goal. So we're in this together. Let's get the max amount of offers we can. And we did. And we went significantly above ask, to the point where she made significantly more money by going at 6% than we probably would have had we gone in lower, because every agent in the marketplace wanted to go sell it, because we were a full percent higher than almost any other listing in that area, right? Now, would it have sold at the other one? Sure. But would we have gotten as many offers as we did? Probably not, right? Is my assumption. And I firmly believe that. So we got into a bidding war, and we ended up getting significantly more value for her. So you just you got to stick to your guns sometimes. And you know, if you're doing it with major upswings and you're nervous about it, it's not going to work. But if you go in confidently and you truly believe in the value that you're bringing and the strategy, then it will work.
Other thing, take this for example, adding on to what you're talking about here. If you've got a property on the market and everybody else is 2.5 and you're 3.25, right? Listing commission, something higher, better. When it does go under contract, you've got to realize that you just pulled that other agent onto your team. He's now on your side. You know how much influence we have over the transaction, guys. We control the whole damn thing, right? We can totally freak them out over a home inspection, or we can calm them down over a home inspection. We can freak them out over an appraisal problem, or we can calm them down and hold their hand and walk them through it all. You know that for sure, 100%. That's what our deal is. And it's our tonality, it's our competence, it's our confidence. It gets better every day, right? So our job is to, if you're my seller, I want more than everybody else is asking you, because when it does go under contract, I want that buyer's agent to be attached to the outcome. I don't want him to want this deal to fall apart, because he's going to go sell one down the street, sure, but he's only going to get 2.5, right? And Christmas is coming, and he's got kids, and several $100s makes a difference, right? Let's be realistic. It's strategy, it's emotions. It's not just the buyers, it's the buyer's agents, right? And it happens, and it's a true thing. So, but you got to have these conversations with your seller. Maybe the seller says, screw you, no way, I'm not paying any more than 6%. Okay, right? Well, before you say it, last chance, I'm going to try one more time. If 0.5% in a $400,000 sale is $2,000, right? You don't see the huge benefit from a $2,000 deal, right? Offering $2,000 more is a huge game changer for getting attention from the buyer side. I'm happy to not do it. I just want you to understand how easy and minuscule that is in the grand scheme of things. You tell me what you want to do. Right? That's the conversation to be having with the clients as a good listing agent using agency. Right? Now look how beautiful this business is, just as a quick side note. We get the other side to come over to our side to work with us, to want this deal to go, while we legally get the chance to smack them around. And with single agency, we 100% work against their best interest, right? We do not negotiate on their behalf. We do not do anything that's going to help them or their clients at all. So they're now excited to come play nice with us while we're smacking them around to get the deal done. Agency is a beautiful thing, and I don't think we're talking about it. We should be able to charge at least a point or two higher for using agency, right? We really should. It's invaluable as an asset, and we just kind of overlook it sometimes. So make this be your wake-up call to talk about agency a lot more, because most of what we talk about from a negotiation standpoint, we can't even really do in transaction brokerage at all. We talk about from a single agency. Okay.
Mike Claim input, best advertising for a listing. I'll give my opinion. The MLS. If you price something properly and you put it in the MLS, that is your best marketing tool for a listing, because that is, you're blasting that out to the entire agent pool. Now, we are getting into a normal real estate market. Maybe it's sitting a little longer than what you want it to. And so there are ways to enhance that. And with Moxie, you can do that with the ability of social ad engine. You can do that very easily, where we can put a little bit of money and create exposure to the marketplace and maybe attract a buyer that didn't see it, or their agent didn't see it. And so maybe you can attract it that way. But generally speaking, if it's priced properly in the MLS, that is your best shot at selling that property, in my opinion. Your thoughts?
It's always, yes, right? Pricing is absolutely important, but let's understand what pricing does. Pricing is the ticket that lets us go to work, okay? And this, I think we need to talk more about on our listing presentations too. When we redo our listing presentation, and Chris and Craig, I know you're watching too, we need to make a bigger point about this one. Once the buyer's agents call, once the buyer calls, texts, emails in, and showing time sets up a request, that's where our job starts. Okay, a lot of people think that's where it ends. No, that's where it starts. That's where we get to use sales skills. That's where we get to really decide, meet the people at the house, size them up. What kind of car are they driving? What kind of clothes are they in? What kind of eye contact? What kind of handshake? What kind of tonality? What kind of word sentence structures? Are they D personalities? Are they I personalities? Are they S's? Are they C's? Is that a visual representational system I hear? I see, right? Do I hear a little bit of auditory? Do I get the feeling that they're more kinesthetic on this showing, right? Bring them on. Walk through this front door, right? Come into my lair. I'm going to sell the crap out of you this home, because I'm going to make you feel comfortable. I'm going to have done my job, which means I have a certified pre-loved home. It's priced well, which is why you're through my front door. I've had the home inspection done. I've had the repairs done. I have the re-inspection on the kitchen counter. I have the flood insurance documentation there. I have all the utility bills laid out. There's not one question you have about this home that's not answered on that kitchen table, right? And now I'm going to learn about you. I'm going to make you feel comfortable. I'm going to mirror and match. I'm going to make you feel comfortable. I'm going to answer your questions. The house has zero worries for you whatsoever. And I'm going to sell the features, benefits, highlights in your language to make you love this home most. So you write the damn contract and I get my client money. That's my job. Period. Period. How many agents do you think do that on a listing presentation? Even talk about any of that on a listing presentation? It's 0.0, right? And it's a shame, right? That's the difference, guys. That's where we shine. That's why we're worth more. We spent the time educating ourselves to be the best we can be in this business, to outshine and outperform and outwork and outsmart, right? Everybody else in the industry who's just screwing around in the business, right? This is our profession and we're damn good at it, guys. We got to show this off. We've got to sell this a lot more than we're doing it right now, right? That's the difference. That's the difference. Let us sell. sell, sell, sell. I get obviously passionate about this, guys, because this is the untouchable argument, right? Give us a communication battle. Bring any agent in any marketplace. Bring us any broker from any other company anywhere in our marketplace, and let's go head to head with experience, competence, confidence, and ability. Bring it. Bring it. And that's not a cocky statement. That's a confident statement, because we've been doing this for a damn long time and we're good. And we've screwed up a lot along the way, and we know what to do to not make that happen again, right? That's what they're hiring, guys. It's all of us and you. We have several hundred of us, guys. We're almost 500 people now crossing the whole state, 60,000 transactions, selling $1 billion last year. What are we, 13, 14 billion sold already? That's a lot of experience, guys. And we're worth it. They're hiring us. We're damn good at what we do, guys. And make sure that we do not sell ourselves short, because we deserve it, everything that we're doing. Oh, am I saying we should show up with the buyer's agent and the buyer? Hey, you want to be a salesperson? How do you sell when you're not there? That's my point. My whole argument just went away aside if you said, here's the showing instructions, good luck, send me it on. Come on, right? Come on. We're better than this, guys. Better, 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 better. All right, give us another one. Yes, we'll send it. Melissa asked, can we send the Zoom link out? You guys know you got the email from Angelique this morning, which has every week's emails. Every training does get sent out. Plus, this will be posted on Beggins Agents later on today, too, so you can rewatch this as many times as you want. But thank you for bringing that up. And please keep rewatching this one, guys. This is going to make the difference in a marketplace like this. Let me give you a good example. I had a friend reach out to me through Messenger this weekend. You know, I say a friend. I don't really even know the damn person, right? Somebody in my Facebook environment sent me a message that her and her fiance are looking for a house over in Apollo Beach area. They were driving around, they saw some Beggins signs, right? Great job, whoever's working the marketplace putting signs up. That's the beautiful part about listings. Got it? There's the point number one. Point number two about the market. We've had a couple properties. Can you send us over to somebody? And then we're going to find out who's the listing agents on it. And we're going to work up, talk with Chris about it after this. But then I said, yeah, do you need somebody right now? No, we don't really. We got some family stuff going this weekend. Beginning of the week is fine. Right there is the punctuation mark about what kind of market we're in right now. If this were 5 months ago, they would have dropped everything on a Saturday morning to run over to that house to be one of the 12 offers on that house. And now they're full confidence that it'll still be there today and tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday, because there's already been price drops and there's 4 others on the street and there's no urgency at all. That's what's going on in that micro market right now. And that's just, that really hit home. Don't want to bother anybody over the weekend. We got our own plans. We'll pick it up next week. And they're real buyers. They have to buy a house. But so these are the stories that we need to be telling, because it's very telling as far as what's going on in the marketplace right now. So we have to be damn strong about what's going on with our pricing standpoint there. So one of the questions that I had too is, I have a seller that does not want to be realistic on the price. Should I take the listing? What do you say about that? It's interesting.
Again, my opinion is, if you can't establish trust and the relationship up front, I just don't see that working out. Now, again, they're going to set the price. So I think if you set the expectation and say, okay, I'll agree to take this, but you're going to agree that in whatever specified amount of time, if we're not able to get that price, you're going to agree to go up the price at this, right? Or lower it to this. There's got to be some sort of agreement that you're in agreement with, or it's not going to work, in my opinion. So I think if you're willing to have that conversation, sure, I'll be willing to try, right? That's my job. So at the end of the day, you are the one who gets to decide what you want to list it at, and the market's going to tell us what they're willing to pay, right? I don't get to choose. No one gets to choose. The market is going to tell us, right? So I'm good with that. My only challenge is that I want to make sure we're on the same page. And from a professional perspective, I think maybe we're overpriced. So let's agree that we're going to go do everything we can for 2 weeks to get this price. And if we can't, then you're going to agree to come down to this, right? Something that shows that we're on the same team. if they're unwilling to with that, in my opinion, I wouldn't waste my time. I'm gonna cut that loose and move on. But that's just me. What are your thoughts?
I would go back to the process, right? Slow. This is what it's gonna, this is how we could price it here. It's gonna sell very slowly. If we price it here, it's gonna sell average days on the market. If we price it over here, backwards, it's gonna sell very quickly. You're the only one that knows how quickly you want to be living in North Carolina. You pick this. Now, if you go here, you can't call and bitch at me because it's not sold. Fair? Because we know that that's not going to create an offer quickly. I'm willing to try it because you don't need to be in North Carolina for the next 5 months, right? So we can play. But let's just agree that if we get crickets and we get no showings, that we're going to reduce the price back towards this direction. And we'll keep going this direction until we need to get the contract. I'll start wherever you guys want, right? At a risk to my career, because I'm showing the neighborhood that I don't really know how to price properties, but I'm willing to do it because I understand your personal situations. That's called a conversation. That's called transparency. And that's calling getting alignment with your customer, okay? And I'll do it with the promise that they know that we're going to go back down to reality. I want the listing. Of course I want the listing. I want the sign up. Of course I want the sign up. I want to be able to do just listeds, right? But I don't really want to do a lot of mailings about it right now because I don't want people thinking that I'm going to get 280 a foot when it's really going to sell for 230 a foot, but I'm going to list it at 280 a foot because whatever, right? That's depends on the stage of your business also, correct? There are agents that would say, no, because I'm going to have to defend it. I'm going to have to take a bunch of phone calls defending the price. And it's not worth it right now. If you guys want to price it more around here, call me when you're ready. And if another agent tells you that they're willing to take it at that price, I want you to write on the top of their listing agreement that the moment you come to me for a price reduction, I have the right to terminate this agreement and go with the agent that told me the truth up front. Right? How strong are you? What do you want to do? It's your business, guys. Do what you want to do. We're just giving you the advice, empower, educate, and encourage to have this conversation so you can make money to fund the lifestyle that puts a big ass smile on your face, right? Now, overpriced listing isn't going to put any money in your pocket, and it's not going to put a smile on your face. It's going to take money out of your pocket and put a pissed off smirk on your face is what it's going to do. Unless you set the expectations that it's going to come back down to reality because you know they have an impending event that's coming soon enough that's going to force them down to reality. And you've had this conversation, right? That's my long answer to that question is maybe if everybody's on the same page. Now, what if it's the buyer that says, huh, sure, give me $1 million, I'll sell my house that's worth 750, right? Put the sign up, good luck. Do you want that listing? I don't know, right? I don't know what stage of career you're in right now. I don't know. I don't think that there's anything good that can come out of that situation because you know it's going to expire, especially if they have no plans to move and there's no real issue, right? So you got to kind of take case by case and then bring your manager in on this one. When you have these one-off situations, let us advise you. Let us learn the situation. Sometimes we'll jump on the call with you with the client and say, hey, I think we all know that the price really isn't exact where it needs to be right now. Tell me more about your situation. Let me see if we can be of service to you, right? Your manager will call with you. We'll talk with you. We want the listing too, right? We're partners. We make money when you make money. So we're going to work together to make that happen on that. So that's my answer on that one. Good. I like the conversations today. I thought there was a potential realtor ethics issue to show up at the buyer's agent and the buyer. This is not, I will show up and sell the home. I don't know where you got that from, but there's not an ethics issue. That's our job.
The ethics issue, Mike, is if you're trying to talk to the buyer's clients without them, that's an ethics issue. You cannot communicate knowing that client is represented by a buyer or has an agent. You cannot directly communicate with that buyer, but you can certainly be there when they're both present.
You can't say, hey, your buyer's agent's an idiot.
Yeah.
Here's my number, call me after. Yeah. And I'll do it. Let it up to that's an issue, right? But no, showing up at a showing to preview and sell.
Yeah, it's your listing.
It's your listing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm glad we clarified that right there. Graham doesn't want to move out. Grandpa.
Jason raised his hand. I don't know if he wants the chat. We could let
If not,
him
we'll just
ask.
wave right back at you. There you
Yeah.
go.
Jason, put in the chat if you want to ask a question, and we can definitely do that. I saw you raise your hand. May have been an accident.
Oh, I like this one. Let's hit this one too. I want to move into a new neighborhood and price point, right? One of the agents, this is one of the agents out of Brandon. My problem is, why would a seller hire me? I've never sold in here and I've never sold in this price point. I'm afraid they're going to find me out. Very, 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 very valid concern, drunk monkey, right? Because this is it, right? This is very important question. I love this one. The issue. Here's the biggest issue, biggest disconnect. We're going to rewire all of our brains right now. I want you to picture the listing agreement right now. I want you to look at it, picture it in your mind at this moment. On that top left corner, what does it say? Is there a logo? Yes. Is it Century 21 Beggins /B3/ with this with Beggins logo on it? Yes. Okay. Couple lines down. Seller signs a contract with who? Broker. That's not you. Okay. They're hiring us collectively, all of us to sell their house. They're not hiring just you. Now, you're phenomenal. You're awesome. You're amazing. You're a badass. You're a kick-ass ninja rock star real estate guru badass. And they're hiring all of us too. Okay. And you may not have sold in Orange Blossom Grove's $2 million neighborhood, but we have, right? And maybe if we haven't, we've certainly sold other $2 million houses very similar to that one. So there's nothing that you have not done, because they're not hiring just you. Okay. Very important. I can't emphasize this point enough. Somebody comes to you and says they want to build 6 townhomes and they want to think about hiring you. You've done that. We've done that. Somebody has a big ass piece of commercial property. We've done that. We've got them. Somebody has a car wash they want to sell. We've done that. Yes, we can help you. Notice the word I just used. We, right? We've done that. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. So therefore, take away any doubt, fear, and anxiety that you have about selling something in that neighborhood, because they're hiring all of us. Please get that through your mind. Just allow that just to dig through all of the crap of the doubt, the fear, and the anxiety that's in you. You can go knock on a $5 million expired listing door right now with full confidence that we've handled many, many, many transactions way, way, way bigger than that. And we've got you and we've got them, right? So that should give a little bit more swagger to your knock, 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 right?
Gotta be we. It's gotta be we. And it doesn't matter who you are or what stage of your career you're at, right? I think a couple of years ago, Gwen was #1 agent in the world for Century 21 or the US, I think, with 341 transactions in the year, right? Yep. 341 personal transactions. And that is amazing. That year we did 2,000.
Probably, yeah.
So no matter what you do, even if you're Gwen doing 300 plus transactions in a year, we have done more, right? So if you still have to come back to the fact that I don't care who you are or how great you are, you're awesome and you're amazing. And at the end of the day, they are hiring you, even though they're not. They're really hiring the brokerage. They're hiring you. They're hiring your personality. They're hiring that connection, right? So you still have to build that, and that's 100% part of the process.
Yes.
But building the trust stack behind you is it's us. It's the entire team, right? Even to the point where Craig and I were on a presentation last week, right? Meeting with a couple developers and builders, trying to win the business, $30 million worth of business in Gibsonton, right? Have we ever sold a bunch of lots in Gibsonton and built homes and sold $3 million homes in Gibsonton? Not directly, Have we done a ton of projects though throughout Apollo Beach and along the Gulf beaches where we've sold them, marketed them, and sold out buildings and condos and hotels and $1 million units? Yeah, we have. And that's the story we told. We have done this before, right? And all we did was pull up what we have done with these other projects. Now, did they directly translate? No. Was Craig directly involved in some of those? No. Was I directly involved in some of those? No. Some of it was Jeff. Some of it was some of our agents. Some of it was stuff Craig had done years ago. But all of those add up to what we have done as a brokerage. And we have 500 sales agents that we could have market that property. Those are all things that all the other people interviewing for that $30 million of business likely don't have. Right. And right then and there, we got half of them because that builder's like, you're it. I'm hiring you. And we're still waiting to hear back on the other one. And I think we're going to get those too. Craig's pretty confident as well. So that's $30 million of listings that are going to be coming into the brokerage because we sold us as far as the entire group. Not if Craig had gone in there and only focused on what Craig had done, even with his amazing reputation, I don't know if we get it. I don't know if it's enough because he's selling everything that Beggins Enterprises has done, and you as agents and the team and Jeff, that's what really sells it, right? And so it's always we.
I heard from a roundabout source this weekend who one of the other people that you're really competing with on that other half of that listing. And I know for a fact what that person's pitch is, and it's 100% down. It's going to be a me, I. And to your point, even if it was a Gwen who did 300 transactions last year, they do not have the systems, the organization, the reach, the ability to market the way that we do, right? And that you guys know us well enough to, we're a we company, right? This is us. We're all doing this together. And whether it's a new listing you're getting or it's a $30 million project that we're bringing in for inventory for all of us, right? That's just what we do. It's awesome. I love it. I love what Logan just wrote in here. You guys can see it was just to the panelist here. Logan said he had this problem talking about him until he had his first sale. Then he switched and he never talked about himself again. And now it's only about his brokerage when he's on the listing presentations, right? Success leaves clues guy, right? That's it. He's a newer agent. He's a damn good agent. He's a great sales, right? He's awesome. As awesome as he is, he's not as awesome as us collectively as a team. And he's smart enough to know that. And it's not an ego blast by any shape or form, right? It's just a layer, right? We talk about you, we talk about Beggins Enterprises, we talk about C21 as a brand, and we talk about Anywhere, formerly known as Realogy, and they're getting all of us together. Because guys, if we have a problem, we call directly to Mike Meadler, the president and CEO of C21 International cell phone. He picks up the phone. And if he can't solve it, he'll call the CEO of Anywhere and we'll get on the phone with their legal department. Guaranteed 100%, right? It's a team, it's a network, it's a huge organization. And we're proud to have all those layers. And you better be too, or else why? Well, why else would we be here? So use that we guys, it's awesome. Teamwork, that's right. That's right. Fuck how, Taylor, I love it. Right? So that's it. Good. All right, we got time for probably one, maybe two. Other questions, type in there. I know we got a couple more on our list. What you got, Mike?
I think we hit on almost all the ones that I had.
I got one more that I want to hit on. And then if anybody else type in. I have conflicting thoughts on which listing presentation to use. What should I say? Help. Okay. That was a message I got last night on this one. So let's talk about that for a second. What do you do on a listing presentation, right? And here's the challenge, and especially now, the way the world is, it's aggravating. It's confusing. It's distracting because you have YouTube, right? You have Facebook. You're being targeted on Instagram, on TikTok, on LinkedIn, right? On ads and shorts. Everywhere in the world, people are selling their magic pill potion on how to list more properties. You got people trying to buy their mastermind group. Go do this. Let me show you how I got this many listings. And there's four, I get it, guys, right? And the thing is, everything works, right? It does. Everything works when you bring you to the equation and to the table, okay? You can show up and say what you want to say. If you have a connection and trust you and they know enough about the brand, you'll probably get the listing, okay? If you have the trust and connection and they know you well enough, right? If it's your cousin, your next door neighbor, you'll probably get the listing no matter what, okay? However, most of your presentations, if you're in business, are going to be to people that you don't necessarily know and have that connection with, right? So you have to have a process. You have to have a system. You have to have a go-to step-by-step checklist that you go through in order to be successful every time, and do it every time, especially when it's your best friend neighbor, right? That's the whole key. So my advice to you who wrote this question, I won't say who it is you need to spend some time and get back into Beggins agents and research wherever you're getting our information from, and you need to learn the process. And the process is simple. I want to interview for the job. I got a couple questions to ask you. Let me come see the house. When you're at the house, we have a list of questions to ask when you're at the house. What do you look for on the preview? The age of the appliances, look at the roof, the questions about their home. Why did you pick your home? All these things are the process that we teach. Okay. Why do we teach this process? Because it works. We make money when you make money, guys. We don't want you to screw up, because when you screw up and don't get a deal, we don't get any money either. Okay. Let's be realistic. So we're going to teach you what absolutely works. Here's the process. Here's how you set the appointment. Here's what you say when you're at the preview. Here's the 11-question piece of paper to leave with them, right? This is here's your Moxie presentation set up for you. Here's the link to send them. Inside that is the video presentation that's 6 minutes to talk about all the crap that you don't want to talk about later. It's done. Then there's a pre-qual script that has the questions you need to ask them before you come out to actually make the presentation. And here's the actual presentation. Thanks for having me out. Let's go have a seat at the kitchen table. I got 3 questions for you. Boom, 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 boom. Now that you've seen these prices, where do you guys want to go? This one's fast, this one's slow, this one's average days on the market. Which price do you guys want to pick? Goodbye, thank you. I can go right now to another house and do the exact same process. I could be parachuted into Athens, Georgia tomorrow and do the exact same listing process. Take me to Ohio, I'll do the exact same listing process. Take me to Kansas City, right? Same exact listing process, right? Exact same process with every single person, whether it's a $52,000 mobile home or a $52 million Gulfront piece of property. It's the same damn thing, right? No matter what. Now, what's different? My ability to connect with that client, my ability to go into neutral, my ability to mirror and match their facial expressions, their tonality, their vocabulary, their energy, their attitude, their blank rates, their breathing patterns, their D's, their I's, their S, their C, visual, auditory, kinesthetic, the ability to create that comfort, that trust. I've got the logic. Remember, people buy with emotions and they justify with logic. All a good presentation does is keep you on track. So you win the logic game. Now it's about the emotional connection, which is where the sale actually comes from. And people want to do people with people that are like themselves. So the more you can mirror, match, and connect and DISCVAK into their world, the quicker that connection bond is going to be, the faster they're going to sign a contract, right? That's it. But if you're trying to recreate your presentation every time, you're not going to be able to physically, mentally, not with a mental capacity, the way the human brain is formed, you cannot make up a presentation and mirror and match and figure out the DISC and relate to the VAK while you're making shit up about your presentation. You can't do it. You physically cannot do it. It's mentally impossible for the brain's capacity to do that. You're going to screw it up, or you're going to be okay enough to get it, but they're not going to feel comfortable. They're not going to be proud that they hired you, right? When you have your presentation internalized, you're going to be able to walk through, right? And just know your process. So that's the point. Be relaxed, be real, right? Lauren just typed that in. You can't be relaxed and be real until you've internalized your process. You got to internalize the process. I recommend use our part. You want to go use a Brian Buffini process? Then memorize that one. You want to use a Tom Ferry one? Great. They're both great people. I don't care. But you better damn well use the exact same thing every single time, right? So it's going to work for you. I know ours works because we've been doing it forever and the process is right. Most importantly is get the process internalized so you can then focus in on them. So there's my answer on that one. What do you have to add to that?
I think you're spot on. I think we can almost sum up every single one of the answers today to something simple as be a professional, right? We earn a good amount of money doing this business, right? Be a professional. You're getting paid to it, right? I was sitting there watching football yesterday, watching my Commanders lose miserably and play one of the worst games I've seen them play. They finally bounced back a little bit, but the first half was literally, I'd rather have my fingernails pulled off. And I'm sitting there and my dad is texting me more angry than I am because he's lived with this for generations. And he writes to me and he says, I can't believe that these guys can call themselves professionals. They're getting paid all this millions of dollars to go out and execute their job, and they're not. And this incompetence wouldn't work at my job, right? And he's right. He's right. By and large, he's right. You know, and the coaches are going to get blamed, and maybe rightfully so in some cases. But at the end of the day, as coaches, right, the leadership team, we can only do so much. We can put you in the best position possible to go and execute. But you as a professional are going to decide if you're actually going to go execute to your potential or not. Right. And so I'll sum everything we up today and just up your game, be a professional, rise above. We're not trying to be an average agent. We're not trying to be like everyone else. When you step foot in someone's home because you're part of C21 Beggins Enterprises, there's a higher level of expectation, maybe not even from the seller, but there is from us, right? There's an expectation from us that we are sending the best of the best into people's homes. And we've been doing that for 30 years. And so just rise above. Know that you're not playing for any team, you're playing for the best team. You're on an elite Super Bowl winning championship level team, and you need to act like it. And if you're not going to, then go be on somebody else's team, because we don't need that. We don't need another number. We need professionals. And I believe we have that. So now it's time just to up the game.
I agree. And then take it seriously too. When you're on a presentation, you're representing everybody. And when another agent's on a presentation, they're representing you. Right. So let's make a commitment to each other that we show up, right, with our game face on, bringing our A game. Do you all have your moxies? If you don't, please tell your manager, hey, I don't even know how to do my damn moxie. How do I do it? Just tell us. We don't care. We're not going to embarrass you. But everybody needs to have that. We need to have the same unified front of professionalism, right? We need to make sure that you guys know how to make the listing presentations. We're putting together, we delayed Next Level University on purpose, because we're going to be so awesome at this one as this market is continuing to pivot to make sure that you guys just capture market share collectively. So we're going to make sure everybody's on point and the system is just fine-tuned. So that's that. I'm ignoring your Gator comment, Lauren, because I'm going to have a good day and I'm thinking about it. But for those USF Bowl fans, we appreciate the refereeing. That's all I'll say. And there you go. Thanks for giving us the game. I appreciate that. So that's that. So to everybody, hopefully we had some good content for you today. Hope you had some good takeaways from this one. And as always, we're just here to make sure that you're the best you that you can be. Right? That's our mission. That's our goal. So what kind of week we're going to have?
Best week ever.
And who gets to decide it?
We do.
We do, baby. Have a great one. Reach out. Go kick some ass, guys. Have some fun. Bye-bye.
Yes.